Check, check, check. Check, check, check. What's up, everybody? I think we finally got a decent connection now. Decent. This is the sky today in San Diego. Thank you, Joseph, for sharing this picture. It was taken just a few hours ago, if not within the past hour. I would have shown you sooner, but for some reason, whenever I announce a live stream, our upload speed reduces by a factor of about 90%. So we won't announce it anymore in the future. What's up, everybody? I'm going to show you some really cool pictures of your skies, your sun, and various places around the planet. Right now what you're looking at is San Diego. Big trails over there. The guy said it's the new norm. I want to show you some quick online links just of the weather situation, and then we'll get to the sky pictures that you guys shared within the last couple of days. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Some of the stuff I've never seen before, and I've been around the block a time or two. What you're looking at now is the river situation down in Louisiana. Some of the rivers are climbing quickly. This one here in Lafayette is looking at minor flooding to moderate flooding. South of Lafayette in Vermilion, around Perry, rivers are starting to rise rather quickly due to heavy rains. Heavy rains have been in the area all day long, so not a big surprise there. Speaking of heavy rains, in Cape Town, Africa, they were one day from shutting the water off to a lot of individuals in Cape Town because of the severe drought, when out of nowhere a river of hail, or actually 36 hours of rain, basically dumped 59 inches of rain in places and multiple inches of hail, as you can see in this picture right here, erasing the drought in less than 2 days. And they were on their way to, here's a picture right here and a video if you want to come check it out. I'll put it in the description box below. Starry Night, Sutherland. They've got just a quick video clip of what looks like a river of ice. That is exactly what it is. It's a river of hail. Melted and filled the dams and reservoirs, and they are out of their drought situation. So it was a freak storm, came out of nowhere. It was kind of a pleasant surprise. But in southern Louisiana, looks like, where did Lake Pontchartrain go? Okay, it's over to the right. So this would be west of Lake Pontchartrain, east of the Mississippi. No, just west of the Mississippi. So anyway, rivers are starting to rise around Lake Charles in southern Louisiana. Okay, now we're going to get to some good stuff that you guys sent in. I got a list a mile long of people to thank. I got them in some of the videos, some of the pictures, but Axel, Tyler, Jessica, Kevin, Joseph, James, Robin, the list goes on and on. Pamela, you guys, you blew me away. You want to see a picture? Here you go. Just got this within the last 2 hours. Look at that. I'm waiting to hear back on where that's from. Just got that within the last 2 hours. I'm assuming that that was taken today. There was 3 pictures, 2 like this, and well, actually more than 3, but this was the one that I was like, okay, I've seen a lot of reflective issues in photographs over the years. And I've been looking at them for 10 years, ever since the conception of smartphones. So you can send me a picture of the sun and don't tell me what type of smartphone you have. And over the years, I've learned how to identify smartphones that you're using. I can tell an LG from a Galaxy from an iPhone based off of how the aperture handles the extreme light of the sun. And they all handle it a little bit differently with respect to reflections. This one here, though, now I haven't seen one this good in eons. That looks like a legitimate dual sun. That is a good one. Solus sent that in less than 2 hours ago. Very good picture. Solus, thank you for that. I did ask where this picture was taken, and I'm still waiting to hear back on that one. Oh, before we get to more pics, this is on my earthquake app that I've used this for years, and typically during just normal mundane times, the total number you see right here that says 593 is normally right around 220 to 240 is the average. 593 is exceptional. I know a lot of those are aftershocks from the Kodiak, Alaska earthquake, which you can see there are 3 right there on this snapshot that I took. But 593 is exceptional. That's all I can say. So that's a lot of earthquakes considering it's normally around 240 or 230. You know, it's more than doubled. So the frequency is very high as I do this video. All right, more pictures. I showed you the one from San Diego. That was Joseph. Okay. I don't know where to start. I've got lightning that you absolutely wouldn't believe. It does not look like a lightning storm. Our friend Axel from North Carolina has shared something truly remarkable. And I'll get to that one here in a minute. The lightning that he recorded just a few months back off the coast does not look like any lightning storm that you'll ever see. If you have, like you're looking at right here, this is a moonshot. Obviously, I've got the contrast cranked up a little bit because I was trying to see this. I don't know what it is. It was sent to me this week, and you can see what looks like some sort of an anomaly come off the sun around the 4 o'clock position. They sent it to me because they'd never seen it before. Wanted to know if I knew what it was. I did not. Right there it is. As I was adjusting the contrast and the light, you could see other things as well. So I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if that's a side effect of the light from the moon and how this aperture handles the moonlight. I have no idea, but you can see some lines right there that show up when the contrast and everything is heavily tweaked to the right. But again, I don't know. Never seen that before. That is yet a new one to me. So I don't know what that was, if it's anything at all. But we're sharing. Here's a picture from, this is, where is this one from? Man, I've got so many here lately. This one's John, I think, or Joseph. I don't know. It's a spectacular picture. We've been showing pictures like this week. Unreal. A lot of sky phenomenon pictures here lately. There's more to come. Got a very interesting picture from up around Lake Erie. Looks like this object is up above Lake Erie. In fact, this photo you're looking at right now, was taken from up around Lake Erie, and they just thought that the sun looked a little odd that day, and it did. This one here, don't know. It was shared with me about a week ago. This was observed on Google Earth from Texas, and here it is in inverted format, and you can see for yourself it does look like some sort of an anomaly, but is it a dual sun? Is it something to do with the solar companion? I don't know. Looks pretty good. Tyler shared this sky photo with us yesterday, I think it was. Looks like something went globe-trotting through the atmosphere. Here you can see the two-tone sky, and this is what the sky actually looked like. This is James from Croydon, UK, which is south of London about 8 miles. And the sky clearly has a curtain. Right there it is. He worked the light multiple times and could not get it to change. And it was just a one line, and you can see the sky is divided perfectly in half. And again, that was from South London just a few weeks back. Here's the moon anomaly again. Don't know what to make of it. I think this is a HDLR high definition camera that they were using to record the moon, the crescent moon, and that anomaly jumped off of it. This here, a picture of the Arizona asteroid smoke. I'm not even sure how this ended up in here, but it's kind of like that song earlier that ended up in here. I don't know how that got in here either, but nevertheless, it did. But that was a image of the Arizona asteroid. That thing went right over my house. This was an observation by Kevin. Sent this to me a couple of days ago, and as you can see, this is just an anomaly on a wind map. And I've used this program multiple times and have never seen that on there before. Don't know what it means, if anything. Here's a picture of a chemtrail with orbs all over the sky. Ah, here we go. Look at the diamond-shaped dark outline in the sky. We're going to spend some time on this one here. This was sent in by Jessica. There's the original, and I'm going to show you a inverted. Actually, I just adjusted the light a little bit so we could see the outline of whatever this is or was a little bit better, and that should be the next photo coming up. This looked like something incredibly big in the sky. And this stuff is very real, by the way, so just because you haven't seen it, I've been researching this for years. I've read many, many reports of people that have, and I know they're not making it up, that have seen things just like this. And trust me, I've seen one myself. There you go. What is that? It looks like a huge object that was in the sky or is in the sky. That looks like an electromagnetic signature that it left. At least that's how I perceive it. That thing is enormous. And that was over Lake Erie. I think observed from Michigan, maybe, possibly Canada. I'm not really sure. They didn't say it. Just near Lake Erie. This is our friend Axel. This is a still image from an incredible night of... it's really hard to describe this stuff as lightning when you see the video. There were no storms north or south of this extreme electrical discharge storm that was out over the ocean. And Axel took a video of the storm. He recorded most of it, and in fact, we're going to go right to that. It was one of the most incredible lightning storms, if not the most incredible lightning storm I think I've ever seen. And I unbelievable lightning show, and here it goes. Axel Babel from North Carolina. And again, this was the only storm out that night. Right here is what you're seeing. There was nothing to the north, to the south, or to the west. It was just this. So this storm goes on for a couple of hours. He recorded several minutes of it, like the peak of the storm. And it was just a lightning storm. There was no rain, and there were no other storms but this storm here. So pretty incredible. And what you're looking at is in real time. This is not in slow-mo or high speed. This is as he recorded it. And the reason he keeps moving the camera is because whenever it does, the light stops, the camera loses focus. I know exactly what he's talking about. So he moves the camera to the right to find something in the parking lot to focus on. And you can actually see a car moving down there in real time. That's probably one of the most incredible lightning storms I've ever seen, if that is lightning. So when it goes black, the camera will go out of focus momentarily. You have to find a focal point, and that's why you would point it at the parking lot, just briefly to refocus, and then back out on the storm when it would light back up again. But it's pretty much nonstop. That is amazing. Look at that. Didn't move, it stayed right there. And it was the only storm in the sky. People there had never seen anything like it, including him. That's why he was recording it. Pretty impressive. Thank you, Axel, for sharing that. Incredible storm. Never seen anything quite like that. So here we go. This is the area where this is the area where this object was observed and photographed, right here above Lake Erie. So here's another look at it, and all I've done is adjust the contrast just a little bit to bring out whatever this thing is, and the person could see this structure, whatever it is, with the naked eye. That's why they took pictures. I don't know. But you know what? Over the years, I've read many reports of different people from all around the world that have seen things that are similar to this. Triangles, different chevron type things. You know, they're hard to even describe sometimes. But they're real. Trust me, they're very real. I've never seen anything quite like this, but I've seen when I least expect it. You know, I saw something back in October of last year that trust me, I never dreamt in a million years I wouldn't have seen this thing if it hadn't have tilted. And I don't know how long it had been in the sky because you couldn't see it. The only way you could see it was when it tilted because it made no sound, and it was big like this thing here, but not exactly the same shape as this thing. The thing I saw was just a triangle. It was a full triangle, and it was thick, and the only way you could see it, when it tilted, it had pearl colored lights on the bottom. They weren't very bright, they were dull and really big, and the whole thing was big, but it made no sound. So, but it was different than this thing here. Maybe this is the after effect of that big triangle. I don't know, but I have seen those. They're very real. But what this is or was, don't know. Lake Erie sometime 3 to 4 weeks ago. So that would be more than likely sometime in the month of January. But pretty big. I think I have a picture if I have it loaded. I don't know if it's... No, I don't think I have it. What I was trying to do was look for another picture that was of this. It was just like the second or third picture in sequence. Actually had a airplane in it to the lower left, and the airplane looked very tiny compared to this thing. And you can kind of tell from the lights on the ground. It's pretty good size, but there was an airplane that was flying around the 8 o'clock position from this structure, whatever it is, and it looked tiny. it looked, I don't know, like a grain of salt compared to the size of this thing. It looked really small. So whatever this is, it looks really big, and I'm not really surprised, to be honest. Not at all. So on to some more pics. This photograph that you are looking at here come out of, well, this one here is going a little quicker. J. Scott, this was sent to me today. J. Scott again, sent to me today. Our friend Tyler. Axel. More Axel and the incredible lightning storm. That one there, I need to get that one from Pamela. I want to show you guys that. This one here is from Miss Evelyn Grace. That was a hexagon sun. This here speaks for itself. It doesn't need an entrance. Incredible beams of big shadows in the sky. But I want to find that one, if I can get it in here, which I think I see it. The big shadows in the sky from Mexico. It's pretty cool. That one right there. Let me try to find it. I want to. Okay. It's a really good pic. Hold on just a second. I'll find it and put it in here in still mode. Okay, here we go. Got it. Give me just a second. Okay, this one here was taken out of Mexico. I want to say today. All I know is I received the picture today. And you can see how in the past, if you took this picture, I don't have any type of equipment to do it, but you've seen those pictures where it looks like a city is floating in the sky. I think this is how that phenomenon may come about, and you can see how these clouds are sending shadows of various sizes up on the canvas up above it, because you have multiple layers of clouds. Some are at, say, 20,000 feet, and you have some clouds that are at 10,000 feet. Well, the clouds that are at 10,000 feet are casting shadows on the cloud layer at 20,000 feet. So when we've seen those pictures in the past, that's what this one here reminds me of. If the lower layer of clouds were at just a slightly different angle, you would get that floating city in the sky phenomenon. And I think that's how it came about, from a situation exactly like this here. But you can see in the middle of this photograph, though, you can see some sort of it looks like a contrail going right through the middle. It doesn't look like a trail. It's just a contrail right through the center. And then the other shadows, they look like castles. They look like tall buildings. It's a very good picture. This was out of Mexico. I want to say it was today. The round thing in the middle is probably just a reflection, but but maybe not. But I want to say it's probably a reflection of the green dot that you see up at the 10, 11 o'clock position. So more than likely that's what that is. But good picture out of Mexico. Real good picture. Just a minute, guys. I'm trying to pull up a sun page. Here we go. Be right back. Geomagnetic unrest. The sun is leaking solar wind from a peppering of small coronal holes. Let's look and see. There's a few, but nah, the sun's pretty quiet. No sunspots. Solar flux units at 70. But anyway, let's continue reading. The sun is leaking solar wind from a peppering of small coronal holes now facing the Earth. The resulting breeze is of electrified plasma. Electrified plasma. Kind of reminds me of the lightning storm you guys just saw off the Atlantic coast. The resulting breeze of electrified plasma blowing at 450 kilometers per second is causing geomagnetic unrest around the planet's poles. Arctic sky watchers should be alert for intermittent auroras mixed with waxing moonlight tonight, January the 27th. So we got to look and see if the BZ is tipped south, and right now the BZ is north, so no auroras. And that's one thing you have to look at if you are a mid-latitude sky watcher. If you're an aurora hunter, the BZ has to be pointed south under any solar condition. You could have an X-flare hitting the Earth, and if the shields are north, there's not going to be an aurora. The BZ has to be tilted south in some capacity. The farther south it's tilted, the brighter the auroras there are. There could be auroras when there's no solar storms or coronal holes because the Earth is in a constant state of bombardment of plasma. When the BZ, the magnetic north, the interplanetary magnetic field, tilts to the south, solar wind flows in freely, and then you have auroras. It's not rocket science. It's actually pretty simple. But if it's north, the door's closed, so the solar wind does not come in and interact in a fashion where you can take photographs of a northern, above the Arctic Circle. Typically it's got to be up above 55-degree latitude. Strong solar storms that reach down into the lower latitudes and say beyond 45 and especially 40 degree. Basically, the south opens farther. It can be tipped, 5 NT to the south. Then you're going to have a bigger storm, But if the door is closed, no coronal holes. But these coronal holes are very small. I'm surprised that they're even doing anything with regard to current auroras around the planet. The sun is like super quiet. So I just wanted to touch on that. And here's the current solar data from NOAA. The X-ray flux is very low. It's quiet. Magnometer's good. Everything is in super sleepy mode. So not much happening with the sun with regard to the KP or anything in that arena. So chances are there will not be any auroras tonight, I wouldn't think, not based off of what we just saw there. There could be, though. I mean, if the BZ tips south, then you could have maybe a brief showing of auroras, but not too much. In fact, they've even got percentages way low. We seem to have passed. Remember back at the first of the year how we were seeing a big uptick in close calls with asteroids, near Earth objects? Many, I don't know how many, I've lost count, less than 10, but that's a lot for 1 month. Asteroids that went between the Earth and the Moon. Well, you can see right now there are none. So that tells me that we did go through some sort of a debris field. Objects were spotted coming in the atmosphere. One in particular above Michigan that was, I don't know, kind of controversial. Some people think it was something other than a meteor, and maybe it was. I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't even see any really... Well, I did see a decent video of it, but not much, considering it wasn't during the overnight hours. But nevertheless, there were several close calls that went between the Earth and the Moon, some closer to the Earth than the Moon at 0.1, I think. So probably some of that pack is what came through the atmosphere earlier in the month. But now we've cleared the field. You can see there's nothing in between the Earth and the Moon coming up for the supermoon, full moon, the total eclipse in 4.5 days. Depending on where you live, you got to get up pretty early. Let's see if they still have it on here. There it is. Blue moon lunar eclipse, January 31st. Depending on where you live, for me, it's around 4 o'clock in the morning till sunrise. Let's see if I can find a visibility map. Here we go. If you're on the East Coast, over to, let's say, east of the Mississippi River, well, you can see the penumbra. You can see a little bit, maybe around 5:51 Eastern Time, part of the umbra at 6:48, and then after that it'll slowly start to fade, going over into Michigan, I think parts of Illinois, and west of the Mississippi. Everybody there will have a full eclipse at the moon set prior to sunrise. So Mountain Standard Time, 3:51 a.m. You'll get up, if you get up around then, you'll see the entire show. Same way in the Pacific Standard Time Zone. Central Time, 4:51 a.m. and Eastern, 5:51 a.m. But about an hour after that, the sun will start to eclipse over the horizon and rain on our parade. But no visible eclipse in the eastern 2/3, almost 3/4 of South America, and the western 2/3 of Africa, up into Spain, Portugal, France, Ireland, UK, Scotland. And no eclipse this time around. And that's Wednesday, January 31st, so about 4.5 days. I'll be up as long as it's not cloudy. So that's the only thing that can definitely rain on your parade, is a cloudy sky during an eclipse. That is a bummer. And this eclipse here, the last time something like this has happened was 150, I want to say 156 years ago. So it's kind of a rare event. It's called a blue moon. simply because it's the second blue moon in a calendar month. That's rare. The old saying, once in a blue moon, you're referring to something rare. Well, that's where the saying actually comes from. It's when there's 2 full moons in one calendar month. And we're going to have 2 of those months in the 2018 year. I'm not sure what the second month is. I know the first one's in January, and then another month, sometime before the end of the year, there will be another dual full moon in a single month. Probably October if I had to guess. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm not exactly sure. I don't want to tell you and it be incorrect, but I want to look at something really quick while we're here at the Space Weather Archives. I want to go back to September. I want to go back to September 5th. And let's take a look at the space weather. A storm is coming. 2 M-class solar flares on the 5th early. The reason I'm looking at this, and you can see we did have some strong solar activity then, right? And it was directly square at Earth. This was in September 2017. CME hurling towards Earth. Multiple coronal holes with beta, gamma, delta harboring energy for X flares pointing at planet Earth directly. Solar flux unit was nearly almost double what it is now. That's one of the most important numbers on this page. Sun was very active at that moment in time. That moment in time was exactly when you saw the lightning storm on the east coast of North Carolina out over the ocean. This date right here. Was it associated with something to do with solar energy from our primary source of energy? The sun? I don't know. Very well could be, huh? That storm was a storm for the record books. And here it is again. This storm here occurred when we were at a very peak of at a peak solar activity just for the month of September. Overall it was low, but we were having a peak moment for some reason. And that's when he noticed this very extreme lightning storm out over the ocean all by itself. No rain, no other storms, just this storm. So could it have been associated with some heightened form of solar energy that was reaching the Earth? I don't know. It's very coincidental. This storm was very fierce with regard to static electric, just loaded. And that was the same time we were experiencing M flares, X flares, big sunspots facing the Earth. And we have this atmospheric discharge display like the locals that lived along the coast had never seen. Had never seen anything quite like this ever. In fact, according to the recorder here that recorded this storm, the people said that they had never seen anything like this before. So, pretty interesting. I found this storm here absolutely incredible, and I have to agree, I've never seen one quite like this. It looks like it's centered around something here in the middle. Something, I don't know, it's hard to even explain. Something in the middle has a very strong electromagnetic discharge, and it's reacting to something in the atmosphere. So I don't know if it's reacting to some sort of solar anomaly or if it's just an atmospheric anomaly that just so happened to occur when we were having extreme solar weather. I don't know. I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, Axel, and let you know that when you did observe this storm, we were in the middle of some very strong solar activity. So, interesting coincidence, if it may be. But good job, man, recording this. Look at that. Look at that. It's almost like the Earth was absorbing the energy from the sun, you know, and it was being concentrated for whatever reason right here over this area. Maybe it was being directed out over the ocean so it wouldn't interfere with the power grid. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know. That's a lot of energy. That's nothing for the sun. But for Earth to manage something like a star's energy, then maybe it would react like this in some capacity. I don't know, but I've never seen a storm that fierce, and it lasted for a long time. Pretty impressive. But that's something that we have to learn to do moving forward, is harness the energy of the sun somehow or another. Future generations have to, and starting with us, we've got to get it figured out. There's more energy that blows past the Earth on a daily basis than we would need probably in 100 years, but we have to learn how to harness that energy somehow and turn it into something that we can use and sustain cities and communities and neighborhoods, and be a little kinder to the planet, I guess. We can do it. We have to do it. There's no reason why we can't. We can harness star power. If we can build things like this here, you know, then we can do it. You know, if you'd have told somebody even 30 years ago, a lot of people were born with smartphones in their family, and the internet was around. A lot of us weren't. So I don't know what happened to the connection there, guys, but a lot of us weren't. So what I'm getting at is, if 30 years ago you were to mention something like the internet or a smartphone, nobody would have believed you. So if we can build things like this that supposedly, you know, I guess they don't exist. Well, they do exist. I've actually seen one a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, back in October of last year. Then we can harness the power of the sun completely to satisfy all of our needs. Everybody on Earth, it does it anyway. It's the Earth's primary energy source. So why do we have to use something else? It just doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much all that I had. These really cool pictures that a lot of guys and gals shared with me just in the last couple of days, this past week. You guys have really been on point. Good job, and keep them coming. Keep them coming. If you have more pictures that you want to share, I love sky pictures, and you guys know that. Thank you very much for sharing these pictures with me. If you have pictures of something in the sky, if you notice water along a coastline, doesn't matter if it's a river, a creek, the mighty ocean, doesn't matter, an estuary, if you notice water absent from a place that there should be water, you can take a picture. If it's not an inconvenience, take a picture and email it to me at reports@mrmbb333.com. Again, that's reports@mrmbb333.com, and I'll share your pictures in a video. So I appreciate sky photos. I've always followed, I don't know, the sun, the earth, our atmosphere. It's just something that I've been, all the planets, to be honest with you. There's not a planet that's in our cosmic neighborhood that I haven't studied in some capacity. It's just who I am. I like the sky. I like sky stuff. I want to know what's out there, and I want to know how it works. So if you see something in the sky that's unique, share it with me, and I'll share it with everybody here. So again, that's reports@mrmbb333.com. And guys, I'm going to call it an evening here because I can see the signal starting to bounce. So maybe we're getting some solar weather. I don't know. But thanks for stopping by. I enjoy your company and I appreciate your time. Time is our most precious commodity, and I want to thank you for sharing your time with me. Thanks for watching, and be safe out there.